Hey everybody, what's going on this Tuesday afternoon? I thought it might be able to do the video without putting on the big lights, but the sun's not cooperating today, so I'm going to do it with the light on. Today we're going to be talking about the COVID housing crisis. And what spurred this on was I got a comment from a guy recently, and he called me, which I've been called many times before, a bottom feeder who basically makes money on other people's misfortunes. At which point I said to him, so you're saying that doctors, lawyers, police, firefighters, tow truck drivers, these are all people who make money, and it's based upon somebody's unfortunate incident, divorce, death, car repossession. We have an entire economy based upon misfortune. And yes, the real estate business is quite the same in that regard. We make money based upon the liquidation of a commodity. That commodity is real estate. And my name is Barry Cunningham. I've been doing this for quite some time, 20, 25 years, 1,000 plus transactions, and I've seen it and heard it all, literally, in regards to buying properties and reselling them. Some people call it wholesaling, some people call it flipping, whatever term you want to use. I buy properties and I look to resell them at a profit, and I'm not ashamed of that. You, if you're looking to do the same, should not be ashamed of that. People can try to talk bad about it all they want. Real estate is a commodity. I'm not moving into these homes. It's no different than on shorting a stock. It's no different than if I decided today with the stock market going crazy, with Bitcoin going crazy, you're taking a bet that you're going to make money when you buy Tesla or Amazon stock or whatever stock, that it's going to go up. What people don't understand is a great amount of money is when things go bad. It's called shorting a stock. And if you know that there's going to be, and I'm sure there's been a lot of people involved in insider trading who have gotten some information about a company going down, and it's called shorting a stock. Well, I buy real estate on both sides. I buy it based upon the appreciative value and on it going down as well. Either side. It's merely an instrument. So how is the COVID, besides these idiots that are running around screaming that we all should not be making money on a misfortune of other people? That's not my fault. I didn't put people in this position. Nope. For the last 7, 8, 9 months, while people have been pulled out of work and told to stay home, and now this year you can't even have a Thanksgiving. Not my fault. But people need help when they're in these situations. And some of them, and a lot of them, are beyond the Band-Aid in terms of getting me to another spot. They need to liquidate a property and move on. And so that's what we're here for. And check 1, 2, making sure that everything's working. So the first thing I want to do today is I want to look at the COVID board. So we're going to take a look at the COVID board here, and this is directly from the state of Florida. These are not my numbers. I did not input this stuff, and if you choose to disagree with these numbers, your battle is with the state of Florida. It's not with me. But these are the numbers as they are. This is the scoreboard. And okay, so we're going to click to the next page, and these are the cases, the actual cases that have happened in South Florida, not South Florida, the entire state. And as you can see, we've had a spike the last couple days after 2 days or so of it not spiking. Now we've seen, this is on the 23rd, which was yesterday, we had 8,000 cases. Now understand, this is the most current board. They update this, and then it'll do today, but this is yesterday with the full data. So as of looking at it yesterday, there were 8,000 cases. You see, what you hear in the news and what you hear being bandied about, where they're doing all the lockdowns and all the restrictions and everything else. I don't know what kind of hoax they're pulling. Yes, this thing can kill you, but it is not what they say it is. And they don't want you to see this data. If you saw this data, you'd make sure you had a nice Thanksgiving with everybody there. You would travel to see your relatives, because this is indicative of something funny's going on. Again, not my numbers. So, we had, this was back on the 14th. We had almost 10,000 cases. So it's gone up a little bit, and 8,000 cases. So some people are looking at this and going, oh my God, the cases are soaring. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? This is just a nightmare scenario. That is until you look at what I consider the more important number that you're going to see. That number being the deaths. Now, I can't put up the picture on here because I would block all the data, but yesterday there were 6 people who died. 6. That's what I said. 6. Let me say it again. 6 people died. And so a lot of people say these things have a lag in them, that it may take somebody a week to die. Okay, I play along with that idiocy. And, the day before we had 7. The day before that we had 10. Let me go back a week, 2 weeks actually. Let's go back here. And this is one of the highest points. We had 50. This is in a state with 20 million people. 20 million, but they never show you this data. They never talk about this data. Never. All they want you to be fixated on is this. Oh my God, the number of cases. So this amount here was almost 10,000 on November 14th. Let's go ahead and look at, what did that turn into? What did that turn into, since we are now 10 days later? Let's see, this was November 14th. We're going to go ahead and look at November 14th. And there we go. 10,000 cases, 46 people died. 10 days later, the numbers have just fallen off the cliff. 33, 27, and so on. Less than 100 over the last couple of days. They're making people afraid. I went to the beach this weekend. My wife and I went down to the Fort Lauderdale Air Show, which was incredible. Wish you had seen it. If you haven't seen one of those, this one was a little bit more pulled back. It didn't have the Blue Angels, didn't have the Thunderbirds. It was mostly solo flights of some of the amazing jets that were still, raise your hair. They were so impressive. And the beach was packed with people. I mean, absolutely packed. People are having a great time on the beach in Fort Lauderdale. Yet, they want you to focus on this. Actually, not that. That's the deaths. They won't tell you. They want you to focus on that. I want you to tell me, leave a comment, how many people do you think died in your area, your county, your city in the last 7 days? Sure, they're going to tell you there's 10,000 people who've been infected with the coronavirus just today. That's going to ring. Can't do anything about it. So what I'm going to do, so that just doesn't keep ringing, and I can't pick it up right now. So I'm going to go to a commercial break so that we can get this thing.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
So that's how it is when you're going live, people. This is live without a net. Phone at the desk rings. We're doing deals all the time. We're out there talking to investors, buyers, and sellers. People are contacting us from seeing these videos. If you want to get a hold of me for any reason, you want to do a deal, go ahead and give me a call. I will definitely get back to you. But this is live. This is a live video. It's not edited, not pre-recorded. 100% live. except for, the commercial, which is pre-recorded. But anyway, I digress. We're doing this live. Different kind of things can happen. Lights can go out, but you got to keep rolling. You got to keep rolling with it. There's no script. I'm not reading anything. No script here. This is me talking to you specifically, so I don't have to fake it because I know what I'm talking about. So in this regard, I'm talking about what you see in the newspaper, what you hear on the television, and hear the broadcasters talking about, and how they're trying to scare the hell out of you, and it's working. There's 10,000 cases. Yeah, there is. But nobody is, and I say nobody is really dying. You can just see the numbers. This is public record. You can just see the numbers. And that's why Governor DeSantis is not locking down the state. If you want to get deeper into this thing, you can click down here and go to a different page, and then you can actually see how many people in your county. And so there's no reason why people in, what county is this? Baker County should have to close down because people are freaked out because they live in New York or Chicago. I mean, some of these counties are Bay County, Bradford County, Brevard. They've had 430 deaths since this thing began. Broward obviously is a little bit higher, but look at Calhoun, 21 deaths. So you have to understand the data that you're looking at. And so what has happened is we now have an entire sub-economy. That's what I'm going to call it, a sub-economy, where we have a COVID housing crisis upon us. I didn't create it. Had nothing to do with it. Now what are you going to do? All these people who had restaurants, beauty salons, were working, got downsized, companies, closed down, and now we're looking at things closing down, not here, but in other states as well. It's a bad news. And at the same time this is going on, home prices are spiking. They're going through the roof in certain areas because people are trying to take advantage of the market right now, not knowing what's going to happen. I mean, we still don't know what's going on with the election. December 31st, the moratorium on evictions and foreclosures expires. On December 31st, Trump is still the president. Will he extend it? Nobody knows. And even then, there are certain caveats that you have to follow to be protected by that CDC moratorium. Will Biden change things if he gets in on the 21st of January? We don't know. And because of that, things are completely in flux. But what we do know is that there are some people who have been badly impacted by the coronavirus, and they're creating a corona housing crisis, even here in South Florida. So an article came out the other day, and it's talking about the crisis nationally, but this was actually on Channel 12, I think, and here you take a look at it. COVID housing crisis, evictions resume, foreclosures loom. The evictions have resumed because, as I said, you have to qualify to be protected by the moratorium. If you haven't submitted the correct forms, the evictions are still taking place. In addition to that, the evictions are taking place statewide. They just haven't been executed, meaning a lot of times the eviction has gone through, but the writ of possession is what it's called, where the sheriff actually goes out and says you've got 24 hours to leave your house. You can't do that right now if you have filed the correct forms. But the evictions themselves, the process of eviction is taking place. Same thing with foreclosures. The lawsuits have been filed, the list pendants, final judgments in certain instances have been obtained. They just can't adjudicate and execute to get the sale done. So what do you think is going to happen on December 31st? I don't know. Roll a dice. It's either going to be Trump extending it, letting it expire, and if it expires, there is no help coming until at least January 21st. How many people do you think could lose their home between December 31st, which is New Year's, and 3 weeks later when a new administration, if it happens, comes into office? A lot. a lot of people. The judges are going to be gaveling some of this stuff. Who knows what's going to happen? But we are in the midst of a COVID housing crisis that can't be denied. Thousands upon thousands of people have been unable to pay their rent and or their mortgage for the last 7 or 8 months. They are invariably going to lose their home and be evicted. There's no choice of them catching up. Many of them have been squatting for long periods of time. What are you going to do with all these people? They're going to be just dumped into a new administration? Is Trump going to leave them hanging high and dry? Nobody can answer that question. Today is November 24th. We have 1 month basically, even with all the holidays, to determine what's going to happen. So if you're one of the people who are, basically going to be in the path of this bulldozer, many of the people think that housing is a human right. I don't know if I subscribe to that. I don't know if that's actually true because it's not in the Constitution. They didn't write that and say, yeah, you get to have life, liberty, pursuit of happiness in a house. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and your rent is for free. It doesn't say that. So we're in a quandary. And that quandary is not going to change. I mean, this article just came out last Tuesday, and it's talking about here in West Palm Beach, one of the long-term side effects of the COVID pandemic could be its impact on the housing market. Could be. That's kind of a euphemism, isn't it? Could be. But now we are starting to see a wave of evictions. And even as infection rates spike again, legal protections and financial assistance programs are ending. Now, with those programs ending and beginning to expire, this is when, and I'm smiling, this is when as an investor, you have to get your ducks in a row. This is when you can realize where the profit is going to be. Remember, I'm going to post it again. I love this picture. I love this quote. Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful. You think people are afraid of losing their home and having no place to live over the holidays? You think people are afraid right now, not knowing how the ground under their feet is shifting? You think people are fearful just rolling the dice and wondering if they're going to lose their home and their equity? That's not a big leap. Of course people are terrified, especially those who have equity. The renters, yeah, there's going to be a problem there as well. But for us, people like me, people who buy houses and resell them, there are a ton of properties out there right now sitting in limbo with equity. What I mean is this. Let's say a house, because of the market, because of the comps, you got to know your data. It took a long time here to get to this point. If you know a house is worth $300,000 or $400,000 in a particular neighborhood, maybe $500,000. If that house is worth $500,000 and Johnny restaurateur, Johnny no longer have a restaurateur, only owes $350,000 on that house, but he hasn't paid his mortgage in 7, 8, or 9 months. There's $150,000 of equity right there. But because Johnny hasn't worked, Johnny can't qualify for a loan modification potentially. Johnny can't do anything with that $150,000. He's not going to get a HELOC. Johnny's maybe qualified for forbearance, but maybe he tried it for the last 6 months and couldn't do anything with that. So Johnny's in a position where he's going to lose or potentially lose $150,000. Again, simple math. Property's worth $500,000. Johnny owes $350,000. There's $150,000 of pure equity. So I come in, or you come in and say, hey, Mr. Restaurateur, hey, Johnny, I'll give you $410,000 for this house cash in the next 10 days. $410,000. Johnny's going to have to weigh the options. I could lose this in 30 days when the moratorium goes apart. Maybe Trump will renew it. Maybe Biden will go ahead and extend it. But I've got $410,000 offered to me right now. That means I'll put $60,000 in cash in my pocket. Remember, he owes $350,000. We're offering him $410,000. That's $60,000 that he can put in his pocket right now and change his life. No, he's not going to get the $500,000. We're not going to offer him $500,000. We're looking to make a profit on this. There's nothing wrong with doing this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with doing this. So Johnny then is in a situation where he has to determine what he wants to do with his life. Does he want to risk everything, roll the dice, hope it all turns out well at the 31st of December or if Biden gets in? Or does he want $60,000 cash in his pocket before Christmas? That's the offer we're making to people. That's why you can say it is capitalizing on people's misfortune, but I bet you if Johnny takes that offer, he doesn't think that $60,000 is him being taken advantage of. He's looking at that and saying, wow, Barry, you really helped me out of a bad situation. And I understand you also have to make money as well. I couldn't get a loan from the bank. My business is gone. I don't know what's happening. My wife's ready to move without me. My kids are crying themselves to sleep because they can't go to school. And now I'm going to have $60,000. And, I can cut you some slack and I'll give you maybe 30 days to move. Everything is negotiable. But you think Johnny's going to think he got taken advantage of? Or is that lump sum of $60,000 coming into his household going to be a godsend? I think the latter. I think Johnny's looking at that $60,000 and saying, maybe I can reopen my restaurant when all this clears. I'm sitting on a bank load of, a truckload of cash sitting in the bank that I can use after this thing is over. That's where we come in. That's where we start looking at deals. So I'm going to take a break here. When we come back, I'm going to talk to you about how I find these deals, because a lot of people really don't know.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.
So I found another article that I wanted to bring to your attention, and this article talks about how this is a newspaper in Jacksonville, and they're talking about how we're not going to get out of this COVID housing crisis without the federal government and state government stepping in. These are all programs that I consider Band-Aids. It doesn't fix anything, and it's minimal. We're talking about a stimulus where we got last time, I think they gave out $1,200, and now you just want to pacify people, and you look at things like this. This is pretty interesting. A total of 90% of Americans support a second stimulus to help small businesses and employees. If the second stimulus is anything like the first stimulus, what in the hell is Johnny Restaurateur going to do at $1,200? Johnny owes his landlord at the restaurant $20,000, $30,000. Johnny hasn't paid his own mortgage for 6 or 7 months. There is no amount of stimulus that's going to stimulate the economy back so that Johnny can open up his thriving restaurant again. Luckily, Johnny knows how to cook and he knows how to make a business. So if he's got cash, he can actually get to a different place in his life. Maybe it's not Boca. Maybe it's Fort Lauderdale. If it's not Fort Lauderdale, maybe it's Weston. Someone who's got skills and owns a business can replicate that if they've got the financial backing behind them. So when I look for a deal, I'm looking for people, and I said this many times, Good people in bad situations. Good people in bad situations. I'm not looking for people who are, unfortunately, scraping the bottom. I'm looking for someone who, if he's given the opportunity, if she's given the opportunity and had a bankroll of cash, a stack of cash, they could get back to work. So finding those people isn't really hard. You can go, you can go to Zillow and look at foreclosures. I've showed you that before. There's another one, but let me just go ahead and look at Zillow. So we're going to look at Zillow real quick. And when you're on Zillow, you can go up here to buy. And when you hear buy, let me go back. You see where it says foreclosures here? Are you looking up the top left where it says foreclosures? Right there. You can go here, and then you can do all your different sorting and everything else. It gives you an ability to see different things that you want to look into. I love this move-in ready homes because I'm a guy who specializes in turnkey. I'm not looking to do zombie homes. I'm not looking to do huge renovations. So I want move-in ready homes. And in this particular filter, whatever it was, Cape Coral, there were none because mostly dirt. But let's say Boca. What can we do? Okay, West Palm Beach pops up. And West Palm Beach foreclosures. And boom. Okay. Here and you notice where it says pre-foreclosures. Now, if you're using this site and you click on here and everything else, it gives you some information on this home. Nice, not bad, but this is a pre-foreclosure. 240, 32, 16, 14 square feet, 1,614 square feet. Zillow says it's worth 232. I don't care what Zillow says. That doesn't really matter to me what the values are. But let's look at this same property. Let's do something. Let's take this and look at it on, hopefully Redfin will show up. If Redfin shows up, there's a little bit more data here. There's Redfin. Okay, same property. Now watch this. Notice there's a little bit more information that an investor needs to see and understand. First thing I want to tell you about is you should quickly build a relationship with a realtor who can help you do this on the MLS and get the most current, most accurate data. Do what you need to do. I married one, so that helped me out. But absent marrying a realtor and understanding where to go, Redfin is something that you might want to look at. Because when you're looking at Redfin, notice this number here, 149 square feet. What that says is that this property is selling at $149 per square foot. Now, if you're comparing properties and you have likewise amenities, a pool, barrel tile roof versus a flat roof, this looks like it's maybe a corner lot. It's not on the water, but you can get a really good accurate view. Let's see, this is in 33407. We're going to do something here. We're going to look at 33407. And when I do my search, I want to look around and see all these houses in here. You can see what those houses are. And each one of them, depending on where they are, you click on here, it's going to show you what they're being sold for. Then you can dig in here and find out the sold ones versus the ones that are active. But every single one, my phone's ringing off the hook, guys. I need to turn off that ringer, don't I? If I can reach it here. I can't reach it without causing a problem. Any event, sorry about that. But again, you see this one here in the same zip code is selling for $234 a square foot. So I hope you can see that. Hope this thing isn't bothering you that much. But right there, I can see that this house is selling for $234 a square foot. I can also see that right now that it's been on the market for 153 days. But if I know the price per square foot in a certain area, that's what's really important to me. If I know that a house or a neighborhood is sold properties, and you can dig through these listings, if I know that the average sold price is $200 a square foot, and I see a property that's listed at $130, I know there's a potential for a deal there. I know there's potential for a massive amount of profit. $70 difference per square foot, home run. For instance, let's see here. The wife and I went and looked at a listing that she printed out for me this past weekend. Well, after we went to the Air and Sea Show down in Fort Lauderdale, saw a house. Numbers jumped off at me. Numbers show that this house was being sold for $760,000 in a great district, Coral Ridge, down in Fort Lauderdale. Massive house, 2,800 square feet, massive for what we look at, 2,800 square feet. It was selling for it's selling for, 2,800 times X, you're going to get your square footage. I don't have it written down here, but the comps were much higher. The comps showed that this house that we can probably pick up for $725 is worth about $980. That's the kind of numbers you want to work with. And this particular house is owned by a gentleman who just recently lost his wife. Yes, it's another misfortune. Someone else would say we're capitalizing on misfortune. No, he wants to sell the house. It's not me. I didn't do anything. I wasn't involved in the situation. His beloved wife passed. He needs to sell the house. He's already moved to Michigan. He's gone. He wants to get rid of this property. $700,000, $725 is what we'll offer. It's easily worth $980,000. How do I know that? I looked at the square footage. I looked at what the sales in the last 60 days were. I see the difference that it was way below what other houses were closing at. And so I knew right then that I had a deal. Then I did some back due diligence and found out that the guy had already moved. The house was vacant. All the different little red flags that we look at. Are someone in list pendants? Are they about to lose their house in a foreclosure sale? Was a death in the family? Is there a divorce? You can check all this stuff on the public records. So we did. Met with the realtor, and we're typing up an offer today. Looks like we're going to be in at about 7:15 is what our offer is going to be, and the comps all day, all night are 980 plus. That's a $200,000 spread. That's how we find the deals. And right now, when you're looking at Redfin, or hopefully if you got a relationship with somebody on the MLS, you're able to find these deals. You're able to determine, hey, listen, this makes a lot of sense. Johnny the restaurateur, Mr. X, whose spouse died, they want the cash. Yeah, you're not going to insult them and completely, evaporate their equity, but they understand you're in business. You're in business to make money. I'm not moving in. I'm just not moving into the house. It is a commodity. It's just like anything else. It's like a piece of stock. It's like anything. I'm buying it at a discount to resell. That's what we do. And if you'd like to get involved with us on any of these deals, we'd love to speak with you. As you heard, I'm sorry, again, we're going live here. People call us all the time. Those are probably 2 deals or 2 investors, one or the other. And if they're deals, then I find the money to put it together. And if they're investors, I put you in a deal. It's just that simple. I'm looking for partners because there's so much opportunity out here. If you know what you're doing, if you're knowing how to read the data. I went very quick on this Redfin thing. Maybe I'll go ahead and spend an entire video tomorrow to show you how to do valuations. It's not fair just to dip it in a little bit, but I'm trying to tell you, now is the time to jump into these properties. There are people who are, as you know, you can read the news, who are being locked down everywhere. And you know that, when you see stuff like this, articles that say, COVID housing crisis, foreclosures loom. And, there are 15,000 Palm Beach County residents who have filed applications for rental assistance. You know that there were 3,000 eviction notice filed in Palm Beach. You know that there's over, 33,000 delinquent mortgages of more than 120 days. These are all numbers that I can rattle off the top of my head. I'm in business to make a profit in real estate. I know for a fact there's more than 33,000 delinquent mortgages that are delinquent more than 120 days, which means these people are not going to catch up. That's what we do. That's what you need to do. Forget all these courses. Forget spending a gazillion dollars to try and learn how to make money investing in real estate, because if they were doing it, they wouldn't be selling courses. I could write up a course. I could train somebody. They can't afford what I would charge. So if someone's selling you a course for $3.99, $4.99, $9.99 to tell you how to buy real estate, then their business is courses, not buying real estate, because they wouldn't be selling you a course. Besides that, why would I want to sell you a course and have you compete in my market? That ain't happening. I'm not going to show you all my resources here in South Florida for a couple $100. Now, if you want to partner with me, that's different. We want to do a deal and we partner together. That's much different. Let's do some business. If you've got some money you want to put into a deal, fine. We'll go ahead and partner it. If you've got a property you want to sell, fine. Let's do that as well. In any event, Thanksgiving is coming up very quickly. And yes, we will be celebrating it in the Cunningham household. It's going to happen. We're not afraid. Went to the beach last weekend, saw a great air show. We're going to celebrate Thanksgiving, probably be on the beach Friday. Just living life, making money here in South Florida. So talk to you guys tomorrow.
Your source for profit. Hear what you need to know to succeed in today's real estate market.